Reet. Had your gobs. Public service announcement from Fatster's economy lad. All the crap coming is Reet. But didn't ask when war Sloggs and Dan or a couple of doylums that canna use the netty proper, let alone find their arse from their elbow, so gan canny. All the pictures taxed them from all hour, so cheers to all the hinnies who hide them out there. So all canny here over the dirt, so if you didn't like it, like me granny used to say, it's nice to be nice, if you canna be nice, fuck off. Didn't let the bairns listen to this unless you want them to go and proper rage and mental. Reet man, pet man, this is one of them D as I say, not as I D moments. If ye want to copy us, Dibben come running to us after with a broken leg. Cheers, bairns, gan canny.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do the intro.
Yeah, of course you fucking do.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Dirt Podcast, episode 25. Make some noise.
Quarter century.
Yeah, congratulations, guys, on getting so far into it. I'm sure everyone would agree we've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. We want it to carry on for forever.
Well, I wanted Mountainboard memes to carry on forever, and that made it to 18. So whoever you are, you've got some work to do.
We should do like some sort of campaign on rooting out who this person is behind that.
It's super interesting. For a while.
Yeah. But it's mad. It is crazy. I bet it's probably Sonny or someone like that, I reckon.
Sonny's not got the intelligence or the humour to fucking cover some of them.
But that's why I only got to 18.
Sorry, I was being really unprofessional then. I just realised that I hadn't got the light on.
Dan,
that's all right.
You're a guest today.
Yeah, it's just a guest.
That's all right. I've been a little bit nervous and a little bit excited about this. I've not had to essentially do any prep for this at all. It's been cool.
I've tried to do some prep. I haven't because I know you with guests, you kind of do you go back on like people's Facebook pages or that kind of thing and like search for stuff. I'll be honest, I haven't done that, but I have thought of some questions and I've done a little bit of like planning and stuff. I mean, before I fire away and ask you questions, did you want to talk about the dirt at all first? I mean, in fact, the first question, like where did this idea come from? How come you got to episode 25? Where did it start? The whole podcast thing.
I'll tell you what, the dirt is Dan's car. I'm sat in the passenger seat just along for the ride. All the hard work that's ever been put into the dirt is down to that man there. I rock up like the guests do on the day. I don't do fuck all prep. I don't do any of the editing. I don't do anything towards it except for show my face.
That's all we need.
That's what he's here for. He's here for, I mean,
it's Dan's baby.
Our eyes ain't painted on, are they? Look at it.
But yeah, all the hard work is down to Dan.
So was it your idea in the first place then, Dan?
Well, I suppose like yourself, I listen to the odd podcast here and there and have done for a little while. Mountainboarding's needed something like a bit of a constant media for a while. Like I think I've said it before in other bits and bobs, like if we rehash anything that we talked about in other episodes, then I apologize. But
yeah,
we had the ATB Mag and Scars and Remolition, and I know Remolition is still simmering away, Surfing Dirt is simmering away and stuff like that, and Mountainboard Info from Poland, and there are a few other sources around. And the Brind brothers were putting out their program that you were editing, and I was really enjoying that. It's just nice to have a regular something
to look forward to.
Yeah.
And like back in the day, you'd look forward to the next issue of the ATB mag coming out and hitting the centres.
Yeah. Well, I never had that because before my time. But what I used to get home from comps or like events and go on Krill. You know, Reece Crilly's dad, Krill Pics, I think he was called. I used to go on his website like religiously every time I got back, just to like check out all the photos from the event. And then as well as that, of course, going on the ATC Productions website. Back then, it's kind of always you just like searching at websites. Didn't go on YouTube or like Spotify or whatever to like catch up with the latest thing. It was like you went directly to their websites, which is kind of, I guess, the next step after the magazines, which I missed out on. But yeah, there's nothing like that now, really. Which is
that's it. I mean, people are the community seems really strong on social medias, doesn't it? Let's be honest, especially at the moment with the technology that we have in the palm of our hands and the ability to record at good quality.
Yeah,
you know, think of all the old potato cam videos and stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's easy to do that now, and it's easy for people to create 1 minute videos and, you know, clips and whatever they're called, reels and
or
stuff
even stories, like people taking photos of like just taking a photo of their board in front of the run. Like even something as simple as that, which takes literally someone like 20 seconds to take and post, is still like, it's creating the stoke, isn't it? And getting people inspired to go and like, actually, yeah, I'll do it the ride later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's made it so much easier to share stuff like that.
But yeah, I think like it's just a way to, I mean, we don't, what was it you said? We don't deal in facts, Sloggs. We don't deal in facts, we deal in, I'm going to get this right, vague memories and, what is it?
See, my memories are that vague, I don't even remember saying that. How long ago was that? I said that.
I don't know, a month or two. vague memories, and I don't know what it was. But that's not, to me, that's not, I like going to comps. I like chatting the shit around the campfire. If anyone knows me out there, they know how much I like to like fucking smack talk, you know.
Yeah.
Sonny, that, what's his name? Not Andy, not Mark. Brind, the other guy.
Yeah.
Bryony.
Hey?
Bryony.
Matt Brind, I cannot resist talking shit with him, because it's one of those things like I respect people more when I can have a giggle with them, regardless. Like Matt Brind would kick my ass all over any track or jump or whatever. There's no doubt about him, right?
I think he'd even kick your ass in a fight, Dan, to be fair.
Yeah, but not at virtual tennis. Not at virtual tennis, no way.
What's virtual tennis?
It's a subject that we didn't talk about on Andy Brind's podcast for fear of upsetting the family.
Okay. Is that...
Well, maybe we're touching it on Matt's episode a little bit. But
okay.
Apparently he gets very fucking angsty about that, and driving simulations, video game driving simulations.
Yeah, I went round to Matt's not long ago and had a go on his driving simulation thing. It's pretty fun, actually. I think Andy had COVID at the time as well, so he was just at home. So I was just sat in Matt's house, completely ignoring Matt and driving with Andy on Matt's simulator.
Oh man,
it's good though.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, it is a cool little rig. I like his room, his shrine to mountainboarding.
Have you been to his new house? Well, I don't know why we're talking about Matt on this podcast. It's meant to be about you guys, but it's
yeah, I have been to his new house.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? Very clean,
very cool, very, very nice. Lee, you're making it look a beautiful home.
Well, I guess that kind of answers the question about why the podcast has started.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it just needed, the mountain board community needed, like you say, something to look forward to.
Yeah,
of a day on a regular basis. I mean, I think we bit off quite a big bite of the apple, really, going week to week. But I think I just tried to emulate what I've seen on other podcasts doing.
Yeah.
Really, and they all seem to work weekly for the most part. I think we do things a little bit differently to other podcasts. I mean, I'd love to do it we'd love to do it in a studio or something like that. Could you imagine? It would be amazing.
It's like Joe Rogan like invites people over
Yeah,
and like gets them a plane ticket, gets them a hotel. You could just get some mountain boarders
face to face.
Yeah.
Oh geez, even a van would be cool, and we could just drive around to everybody.
Cool.
Do it like Steve-O's bloody van thing. But yeah, something like that is obviously the dream for these sorts of things. But I live in the arse end of nowhere in Cornwall, like as far as southwest as you can get, and it's hard to get around to see everybody. We're a nation. We're a mountainboarding nation. We're a mountainboarding world. We've spoken to, people in America. I don't know where Akoni was, whether he was in Hawaii at the time. I think he was in America. Switzerland, Austria with Matt Brind, Bali with Pasha, America with Don Baker, all over the world. And I know it would be nice to have those in, but being able to do it via these little video calls it just makes life a bit easier. But we've still got to take into account, I work, Sloggs works. Yeah, we've both got families, and trying to do the international episodes can be a little bit timing. I can't figure out time zones for it's impossible.
But like someone like me who's like an average rider, but just loves mountainboarding, but is not like a really good mountainboarder, to be given the chance to talk to some of the great names in the sport from all over the world, it's like I feel so lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah.
If without the dirt, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to say, I got to emulate that. We're quite a close community, aren't we? As a general rule of thumb, we all speak to each other around the world. But more often than not, it's sat bullshitting around a campfire, or chatting the day's racing, or tricks or mindless crap. Which I know a lot of the dirt is just mindless crap, but we're generally a bit more sober, so it's on those occasions. But
it's super interesting the stories you've got out of people so far, and like we all appreciate it. Speaking on behalf of the rest of the mountainboard community, what you guys have done so far, like bringing everyone kind of back together. And even one of the questions someone sent me tonight to ask to you guys has mentioned how like he got back into mountainboarding purely because of the podcast. It's like it's made a big impact and things like that. So fair play.
That's a fucking win.
Yeah.
Like we said, I think I said to Sloggs when we first started, like if we even get close to 100 views on these, then that's a proper win. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are at the comps around the world and stuff like that. Obviously, totaling every mountain boarder up in the world is obviously a bit more than that. But to get 100 people
it's a lot of people. Like imagine us three now sat on a stage talking like this in front of 100 people. Like it'd be quite nerve-wracking to do that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people.
Maybe we should go on tour.
Yeah, live.
We'll do a stadium tour next. But yeah, it's just one of those things to try and help out and try and do a little bit of something. Jeff, I think it was, who was it? Not Jeff Grosso. It was Thrasher editor.
Phelps.
Yeah, Jake Phelps.
He famously said, skateboarding owes you nothing. You owe skateboarding. Skateboarding owes you will bites in the rain. And that resonates with me. We've me and Sloggs, as we're going to a bit of, taught a lot of people to ride. We've tried to endorse the sport throughout our lives. We've both taken sabbaticals from it a bit as such, but that thought of want to try and give back to something that has given me so much is the driving force behind it. I've offered my help to the ATBA here, and always offer at comps to try and help out wherever can. It doesn't always work out that you can, but how else could I give back? And this idea came up, and Sloggs said, "What's a podcast?" And I said, "You're the perfect co-host."
Yeah.
I'm still not sure what one is. I'm not listening to another podcast. I haven't got the attention span to listen to the people talking for 2 hours. It bore the shit out of me.
Mate, you wait till we get in this van. I'm gonna drag you into the world of podcasts.
We'll have plenty of time in that van, won't we?
Yeah.
I keep thinking of more questions. I'm just writing them down so I don't forget. Should we get into, because I'm super interested in this, because I don't think maybe you've told me briefly in the past, but I haven't a clue how either of you found mountainboarding originally, like the origin story of where like you first came across it. I don't know who wants to go first, but explain a little bit about how you came across mountainboarding in the first place.
Dan goes first because Dan was riding before me.
Okay.
I
was going to be polite then and say, because I could feel myself waffling away here.
We'll do it chronologically. You were riding when I met you.
I was seeing a chick down who lived down in Surrey, and at the time I'd been away traveling and stuff, and was just skateboarding and stuff. And I said, "Oh, I fancy a longboard." She said, "You ought to come see my friend Dougie. He's got a skate shop down in Surrey." And I went down there, met him, end up getting on real well with him and chatting shit. I bought a skateboard off him, a longboard that's still over there. And then nothing much more of it happened. But I picked up a magazine there, and it had a picture on the front, and I can't remember the name, but it had a picture on the front of Andy Potter dirt surfing down a hill or down a road. I assume maybe somewhere in the Alps, maybe, I don't know. Anyway,
what year are we talking, Dan?
2000 and I think 2002 that was. And inside it said about mountainboarding and stuff, and there was an advert in there, and I think there might have even been some leaflets at the skate shop as well for XBP in Redhill, the Priory. So I think I went down there, and it was maybe like there was only a couple of weeks, maybe a month left of the season. It was like end of summer, and I had one session down there with a mate of mine called Mikey Gifford. And the pair of us both really enjoyed it. And I did that, and then I went back the next day.
So how old were you at this point? Sorry to interrupt.
I would have been,
just to explain
in 2001, I'd have been 22, 23.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I went down there the next day, and then went back again the next week, and did just went every weekend until Priory closed. And then the winter went round, and I went back start of season 2003. And I walked in through the door, and Dougie, who had the skate shop, well, the skate shop had closed in that winter, and he was now running XPP.
Oh, right.
But big up Dougie, he's back over in Oz with Jane, his missus.
Yeah, lovely bloke.
But yeah, he sort of took us under the wing a little bit there, and I ended up doing a bit of instructor in there, and then I met Simon and Liz from Ride the Hill, and I went with Dougie to Quantox to the blinder and thought, this is it. I have found my place now. And then it sort of started to evolve from there, got involved with the team and then started doing more instruction. And I think around this time was where Slogget come on board. Would that be right? End 2003, 2004?
I think it was summer 2003.
There you go. So, and that would have been, now, you didn't come to XBP first of all, did you? Did we meet you in London?
My origin story now.
Yeah, this is it. So this is where you're coming in.
Go on, Sloggs, take it away from here.
Right,
what he's done is introduced your origin story, not told it.
Yeah. So I'm Cornish born and bred. So like growing up, I'd always been on like either a surfboard, a skateboard, of some description, a longboard. And I moved up to Cardiff, and I was living there with this girlfriend at the time, and I bought a dirt surfer while I was up there, and like I was just riding on my own while I was in Cardiff, just riding a few hills and stuff, bombing hills. And we moved to London. And the first week I moved to London, sniffing out hills, I went to Greenwich Park. So we're talking, this was spring 2003, I'm pretty sure. So I'm up Greenwich Park of an evening after work, just bombing this hill on my own. And this Geordie lad wanders up to me, Scotty Ledbetter. And he was like talking to me. He's like, "Oh, you're into this?" I was like, yeah. He knew exactly what a dirt surfer was. He goes, "You want to come up on a Thursday night? Because we do a Thursday evening session. And you'll meet loads of people when you come up." So I was like, "Oh yeah, sound." So I missed the first week after that. Then I come up the second week, and they're all there on the longboards. There was a couple mountain boards. That dickhead was there. So like, I got introduced to them all, and they were like, "Well, you wanted to come and ride down Priory with us? Come down Saturday, come down XBP."
Introduced, can I just cut in here? I'm not taking anything away. Introduced to them all, that all being Lardos.
Oh yeah, the Lard crew, which is the London and Region Dirt Boarding Association. Okay. Which is, you got Clive, Godfrey, Joe Jones, Dan, Stretch was one of them. It's quite a big crew at the time. So I meet up with them. They take me down to XBP. I had a few shots down the hill on my I'm a dirt surfer, but I'm looking around thinking, I want to crack on one of these mountain boards. So I had to go on one of them. I was like, I don't want a dirt surfer anymore. Not interested in the slightest.
Did you ever ride with any other dirt surfers at the time then, or was it just you?
No, I did do one competition at Out to Grass, I think at the end of 2003, possibly, where I took my dirt surfer and a mountain board, and I competed in both events. But that's the only time I rode with any other dirt surfers. Oh, Clive had a dirt surfer, but don't think that was at the same time as I did, because he used to use it for filming.
Yeah, okay. We used to hit up Crystal Palace as well, and I remember filming, trying to towing him in on the car at the top of Crystal Palace Tarmac Hill, and then him wanging him round, trying to like break 40 mile an hour sort of thing down there.
Right.
But they were the days, like I said, those Thursday nights up at Greenwich in the park there, we'd all meet up. There'd be longboards, skateboards.
Who organised this? Was it just kind of like a thing that kind of started and everyone was just turning up, or was it the Lard thing who organised it?
Meet up through the Lard website.
Okay.
Through the forum, because you remember at that point, all the different regional teams that were around had their own forums. It was at the start of the website, at the start of like the World Wide Web then, really, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
And I think the ATB Sports, that was one, wasn't it?
I never got involved in the forums. I got to say, I completely skipped that part. Well, I still had my phone.
I was working for Lewisham Council at the time in the finance department. So I had a computer sat in front of me. So I didn't do fuck all work. I was constantly on there because as soon as I got the bug, I was like, this is it.
Well, because I'm interested in this because I've not really, like, I've obviously missed all that thing. Like, what is the forum though? What is it? Is it like basically today's Facebook or whatever, people posting about their rides, or is it people asking questions, or like, what is it?
Meetups. It was like clunky Facebook.
Yeah, you just have threads, wouldn't you? And then so you might have a like you would in I don't know. There's forums still exist now, don't
you?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've been on the like there's an Escape forum now that that's kind of what I imagine it to be like, very similar to that.
Yeah.
People just create like a thread, and then people discuss whatever the thread's about on that.
And then you'd have a list of threads, and you just click on to see who said what on each one. Yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah. And then you could drop photos on it and smallish videos, if I remember. You couldn't drop a big, like a huge edit.
Yeah. And how many people?
Just enough space to see a scorpion, that sort of thing. But those, like I say, those Greenwich, we used to hit up Greenwich Park, Sunday morning breakfast club at Stockwell Skate Park and Kennington Bowl,
Brixton Beach, when it used to be the old pink tarmac.
Yeah, and Crystal Palace. We just used to all meet up and hit local spots. Free riding or whatever. And after work, those Thursday nights, I used to love those. And we'd do trips around. We'd go into town and do go along the South Bank, and then cross over the river and come back the other sides. And
pushing along.
Yeah.
Yes, like on the footpath street, sort of.
But it was just a proper little community, really. The same as all these regional teams were, like Team Bad and like modern day still going, Team Neat.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But it was just on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
So
yeah, cool. And then where did it kind of go? I mean, what was the next step after that then? Was it going to centres more, and did competitions start coming around? When did you kind of get introduced to the rest of the scene almost?
Annoyingly for me, I'd already arranged to go to Australia in 2004 for the year. And then once I met mountainboarding, I was like, I don't know if I really want to go now. I'd got myself a board. I bought a second-hand Comp 26, and I was riding with snowboard boots. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I've just met all these people. I've just got into this amazing sport. And now, like, I'm off to fucking Australia. And I was like, oh. So the day before we went, I stripped the board down into bits, ditched as much clothes as I could, and just packed my fucking mountain board. And the 26s at the time were massive. And I
love the fact you've done that, you fucking idiot.
I put my snowboard boots in as well.
You can't have had any clothes at all.
I thought, Australia, what we're going to need? Shorts, a wife beater,
and the snowboard boots.
A pair of snowboard boots.
Yeah. And then
I suppose it was quite difficult for the sand on the beaches to get in them.
Well, the fucking annoying thing was I flew into Adelaide in the middle of their winter, and it's not really that warm there. So totally unprepared, but I had my mountain board, and I was just hunting down like all these hills and stuff, like all these grass like slopes, just anywhere I could.
Yeah. Did you find anyone to ride with when you went there?
No, I didn't. I did get hold of the Munro guys. Can you remember them, Dan?
I know the name.
I've heard of the name.
Yeah.
But I never got around to doing it because we were traveling around, like doing the Traveller Trail, working, then going. And like I was surfing a lot while I was over there as well. So I never hooked up with anyone. But I got loads of like travellers from the UK and like Denmark and like Holland and stuff every night, pissed up in the campsites, riding this board around and like just bashing themselves on it.
Yeah, cool. And what about you? What was the next? Well, Sloggs went off to Australia with his snowboard boots. What were you doing, Dan?
So by this point, I'd obviously done, let's say, I'm sure that Quantox was my first event. And I thought that was later on. I'll have to check my t-shirt. I think that was July. But anyhow, I ended up doing a few more events. And at the time, Ride the Hill were putting a team together. Like I say, I was there every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday I was there, and started doing a few lessons for them, and started, they asked if I put together a team to compete at that coming year's events. So we did put like a little makeshift team together, I think in that first year, and went along. And then I decided to stop working for I think, who was I working for at the time? I think I was just working for like a local groundworking company.
I think you were. That rings a bell.
Digger driving at the time. And they, Liz and Simon said, come on board and do the instructing with them, and, and start doing the seasons. Because then when you got back from Australia, would that have been Roger and Kim's time there?
No. I came back and you were there, and I think Doug was just leaving and you took over the reins.
Yeah.
And then you brought me full-time into the fold, because I came back from Australia like chomping at the bit to get back into it. And then like you convinced Liz and Simon to take me on full-time. So it was me and you there together for at least a season and a bit.
Yeah. They were the best times. Well, so they were all good times, but we did have some giggles then. I remember I was thinking about this earlier. I remember one day, and I love, it's another thing about Slogget, that you can never, he's like a puppy. He's like my puppy. Right. So anyway, I'm going to tell a little story. We had a busy day on or something, and you might be able to fill in some little details on. Anyway, we was arguing over who should take up this group of people.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say here.
We was arguing, and I ended up winning the argument for however it came about. Sloggs goes up and does this lesson. I'm down the bottom doing whatever I'm doing, and my phone goes off in my pocket, and the text comes up, fucking hell, Dan is being such a cunt today. Rah, rah, rah. I'm stood at the top of the hill and I can see him doing fuck all down the bottom of the hill. Right. And I can't remember what I replied, or if I even replied there. But yeah, definite mistaken. It must have been raging at the time. I'm fucking sending this text.
I am a total tech tard. Like, I still am. And like mobile phones were like just virtually brand new then, where they were clunky as fuck. You'd have to press one button 3 or 4 times to get one letter through.
This is the age of the 3210 and stuff like that.
So so I sent it to Dan instead of someone else who I was trying to rage to.
But we had the best times there. Like, Sloggs loves streaming. I could just send him up for hours. He'd be happy streaming away up there. Come back with his little white hands.
So how long? So you were actually in charge of the whole centre then, Dan, at one point?
Yeah, as such, I'd say it's a bit hazy back then, really. To be honest, it's like I say, it's 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
But I was employed by them to do a number of things. Like say, I was their head instructor for a while. I'd also been dipping my hand in course building and stuff like that. They'd sent me up to Scotland to do a build, to go and tweak different parks. We tweaked XPP whilst we was there, the slope style area and the border cross, and also did the same up at what was at the time Super Bowl, Ride the Hills Super Bowl, which was, as we all knew it at the end, Hart Hill.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'd employ me to do that. They were also putting on events like at NAS, National Adventure Sports Show, where they'd have like hire and rides where the kids could come and hire and ride, and they'd do a little demo team and stuff like that.
Can you remember the Isle of Wight Festival, Dan?
I remember going there, but I remember no details about it at all. I got reminded of was it you reminded about the Morzine no, Joe Jones reminded me about going to Morzine, and I'd forgotten some details about that, but that was with the Lard crew. But go on, tell me what did we get up to
So we went to like the Isle of Wight Festival, like as a Ride the Hill crew, to we had a hill there, so it was like a trial day. So you'd have people coming up, but they all, because they're at a festival, all these people were wankered.
This isn't like because I've done a similar thing at Camp Festival, but there's kids there. This is a festival where there's no kids. It's all it's like over 18s to get in.
I think there was kids there as well.
A mixture of age, but
all the adults were like just trolleyed, like wandering around, stroking grass and shit, like rolling around in their own vomit and shit. And we were like trying to just literally letting them throw themselves down the hill by the end of it. We had like loads of little kickers. We had a few rails there and stuff. And we were like partying in the evening. There was loads of bands we watched. We turned our back on a few, Dan.
I was just about to say, I remember turning back on certain bands. That fucking shit. Just stand there facing the wrong way in protest.
It was like things like that were brilliant. Like coming off the centre and going out and about and just meeting people, because these people that you're introducing to mountain boarding there aren't going to that place for mountain boarding.
Yeah,
it's like a sideshow for them, and then you're introducing people who wouldn't dream of doing it normally.
Yeah,
and then you hopefully bringing other people into the fold, which was good, because even though like at the centre, people who come to a centre to learn to mountain board have come there to mountain board.
Yeah,
but you're taking mountain boarding out to the masses when you do it at these other events, which I really enjoyed those ones.
I think that's something that's kind of missed these days a bit. There isn't anything like that at the moment. It's all kind of finished. I think Camp Festival was maybe the last thing like that. Yeah.
And like there was, when we was at the Priory, we were like doing activity, like, you know, the kids were doing activity week in like a certain year group, where like each day of the week they go and do a different sport, or like rock climbing and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, like there was a couple summers where like every day of the week we'd have block solid of like 30 kids, 40 kids coming in every day.
Groups, girl guide groups.
It was brilliant. Like we even had Duke of Edinburgh groups coming in as well, like earning their badges by mountain boarding, and things like that. We're just pushing the sport out to other people.
Yeah.
It had gotten to the stage where the infrastructure of the centres had started to, you know, make its way into mainstream a little bit. We were both making a living from it. We weren't pro riders, you know. I think
we were riding every day of the week.
Yeah,
and then on your day off, you go out free riding. It was a joy. Like I felt so lucky, but I also felt at that point that it was becoming a bit mainstream, and we were possibly on the crest of a wave. Like we were riding that crest at the right time. We were just lucky enough to be there at that time.
Yeah.
But then we got separated at the end of the season, basically.
Yeah, tell that story, because I've always heard about this, but I don't really know the details of it. So what happened?
Well, they had Hart Hill at the time Super Bowl. That was, they'd entered a season in. I think they'd maybe done they'd done the first season at Hart Hill with whoever was there, and I forget who the guardians were at the time, if you like, but for whatever reason they didn't come back, and they had another lad in there who was just sort of caretaker manager as such in there, and I mean they didn't separate us as such. It wasn't
Sounds like
because we'd been naughty as such.
Yeah.
But they needed me to go up there. Is the bottom line. They said we'll put a caravan on site for you. You go and live up there, and Clive Godfrey is gonna he'll come up and you two can sort of set about the place and try and do what you can do to boost it as such. But yeah, that was another fun times living, like I say, living in the caravan on a mountain board site, as Mark Hale will have testified. That is, and many other people will testify, that living on a mountain board centre, we used to stop a lot at XBP, didn't we?
Yeah, we had pop-up tents and we just
yeah, I was gonna say
and I spent weeks and weeks down there without going home at times.
Yeah, it's the best. Amon, am I right in saying that you're not at Bugs at the moment?
I'm not at Bugs at the moment, but last week I was in a caravan and it was an amazing week. Yeah, really good.
It's the best.
I wasn't like, I unfortunately have other work to do while I was there, so kind of like working through the day, and then like in the evening time I just go out and do some digging and stuff. But just being there and having that, I know what you mean.
Golden hour at a mountain board centre is the best thing.
And I'm planning to go back as well, probably at the weekend and like all the next week. So, but yeah, it's amazing just being there and like
wake up there in the morning with the dew and like the mist just over the top of the hill. It's like you live in the fucking dream. If you're
what was really cool, I'm going off your story, but like what was cool about just being at Bugs last week was just random people turning up that I didn't know that were coming. Like Ash Mulholland just turned up one night and they were just like had a cool evening just chatting and having some beers and stuff, and then at the weekend just people turned up who I had no idea were coming. But like when you're at that hub, it's just like people just it's super cool that you see more riders, don't you? Obviously, because you're at Mountainboard Centre, but you know what I mean.
If anybody listening, if you get the opportunity, grab it with both hands.
Grab
it with both hands, because there's nothing like it. Like say, even going up in the morning and riding in the dew, and it's all just spinning off your wheels and icy white around. Oh, it's just mega.
So how long were you there for in the caravan at Hart Hill?
I was there for, I'm not sure if it was 2 or 3 seasons. I did the first year. I'm not sure what happened in that winter. So in 2004, yeah.
Are you looking for 2004 there, were you?
Hey? 2004, I went to Morzine with the Lardass crew and Liz and Simon, and I met, oh crikey, so maybe I went there and I met Pete from Pleasure Holidays, and we both rode there. We had a few chats on the lifts and stuff like that, and I think, no, I'm not sure, he said, why don't you come out and do snow? I think I'd been away with them the year before on holiday. I'm wondering if I'm a year apart here. I might have started earlier than I'm saying I did, because I'd been away on holiday with Rennie Miles, Ed Firth, a load of the Lardass crew to France.
In the summer or the winter?
In the winter time.
Okay.
And then met Pete in that summer of 2004. So it must have been 2003, 2004 that I went to Courchevel on holiday with everybody. Which doesn't really fit into my timeline. So I think maybe I must have been 2002. But yeah, we did that, and he said, come do some work in the winter time. So I was working for Simon and Liz at Ride the Hill, and then obviously the winter time in the close season, I said, well, I'll go out there and do that.
Living the dream.
Easter's an overlap, isn't it? There's still a snow season. Yeah. It's also when all the mountain board centres open up. So there's a bit of a sort of contention over me coming back and getting back into it.
Yeah.
So I definitely did that for a couple of years. And then maybe 2006, that sort of time, 2007, we did that, and I couldn't make it back. Bottom line is I couldn't make it back for the start of the summer season, and I'd had a really good time in France, and I saw the potential to be mountain boarding out there every day. And, you know, Pete and Clair are just, well, they're like family to me. And they were obviously encouraging me to stay as well. But we did a bit of turn and fro, and at one point, I remember sort of not an ultimatum as such, but like there being a decision that they were struggling to keep me and Clive on all year round. And they basically said, there's one position, there's two of you, what do you want to do about it? And I had the option to go to France. And I said, well, I'm not going to go into competition with my friend who we've been working and living with the entire last 2 years. It's not happening. I'll just go. So I did, and then I stayed on out there in France, where Sloggs stayed on over in the UK. So that you should tell your bit.
But with the XBP, for a few of the years, because the priory, the soil there and the drainage is so good, we ran right the way through for possibly 3, maybe a bit more. I think maybe 3 years we ran right the way through.
Okay.
So I didn't have to finish at the end of the season and go and find myself a temporary job and just to keep me going. So it became full time, luckily for me as well, like all year round. Which is, it's what you want as a mountain boarder, isn't it? So,
I think Birkbeck had come on board by then, hadn't he?
Yeah, Birkbeck was
rounding us all up.
He was down in head office, wasn't he? Dursley. Would it be right to say Dursley, Dan?
That's right.
Yeah. So Birkbeck was there when the last few seasons you were there as well, weren't he? So
yeah.
Technically, Steve was our line manager, because shit would roll down from Liz and Simon down through here, and then you'd have Steve managing us pair of idiots. An idiot managing 2 idiots. So, it was great.
And we got shit done, I got to say. We got shit done good.
Yeah, definitely. Thousands and thousands of kids through there, getting them on a mountain board. Built a few courses.
Is there anyone around now mountain boarding, or maybe who've got into mountain boarding a lot, who you remember teaching for the first time out of any of those kids?
I don't remember any first time.
No.
That are still
I remember Matt Brind coming to the centre for the first time.
Well, I remember his 3/4 length trousers.
Yeah.
It was like his trousers had argument with his ankles. But yeah. Interesting side note. I remember Simon and Liz at the end of probably Matt being on the scene down there as a youth, them saying to me, "Oh, should we think about getting Matt on the team or anything?" Nah, we'll be all right. We've got all these riders. Oh, through that mistake now, 10 times camp. But yeah, Seb Cox, who's now just in the last year or two gotten back into mountain boarding. He was one of the pad monkeys down there, of which there were a few, weren't there? Pad monkeys.
Yeah, Lester, Rob, Aidan,
and Lester's brother Ant Shrimpton.
Yeah. So and like a lot of them are still riding. We're in close contact with all of those as well.
There's quite a few, because I mean, I think we've spoken about this before, and he wasn't, but Joe from Tramper used to work at Tramper. He was a pad monkey at Ride the Hill for a time, but I think that was after. It must have been after you guys had gone.
Yeah. So after after I went, they brought Andy Packer.
No, not yet. Roger and Kim come on board with me.
Okay.
So
the reason why we say it's because Aidan, one of the pad monkeys, comes into the story of XBP a little later on.
So Roger and Kim Thurston joined the team down at XBP with me. So I lost one douchebag up to Bowsworth and gained two. So like me and Roger, fucking absolute hoot with Roger. I love that bloke so much. Like, I've had so many amazing times with him and Kim as well.
Not one text calling him a cunt either.
Yeah. like end of the week when it was our day off on closed days, I'd stay down Kim's parents' house with those, because they were staying there at the time, over South Coast, and we'd ride Tank Trails, Devil's Dyke, and all the stuff, all the free ride stuff over that side of the side. And it was brilliant times with them as well. They finally left Knock Hill.
Yeah.
From there.
How come is that? Well, it's a bit of a side note, but what happened there? Did they kind of think just like, oh, we could do our own thing of this, and just went off and did it straight away, or like what?
Yeah, I think an opportunity arose, and they'd been searching it out, because obviously, like, from where they lived, they were traveling up to XBP all the time and stuff. And you think about, there was some good riders down in the Brighton area. It wasn't exactly Brighton, but it was the Brighton area.
Yeah.
Donkey, Craig Raymond, he was a stomper. The Brinds were down that way as well. And I think they just seen an opportunity to open a centre on that coast where there wasn't anything for them.
Yeah.
More than anything. And then Knock Hill just came up from the ground, and it literally came up from the ground, didn't it? It wasn't dug into the ground, it was built off the fucking ground.
It was a unique centre. There's nothing else like it, really, was there? It was such short runs as well, but it was kind of good for what it was, because it was all just little jibs and stuff, so you could session it really easy.
It was a jib park, and it was fucking brilliant. I loved it there.
Yeah.
I remember coming back from France on one of the seasons, would have been early springtime, and going down there, and Roger said, "Oh, I've hired a digger. Can you come down and put a border cross in?" I got down there, and he got these fucking fairground ride bees. And you know what Knock Hill's like? It's just shit everywhere.
Yeah.
They were fiberglass bees, like with two seats in
the
them.
little kids would sit in and go around.
I'm assuming they went on one that went up and down like that and around.
Yeah.
There's so much random shit down there. It's brilliant.
Like we turned them into a couple of rollers, like mounted them on their sides, so these bees were sat with wings up in the air as such, two of them next to each other, and then backfilled dirt behind them. It was supposed to be called the BX. But yeah, they were good times with them down there. And then who had it after Roger and Kim then?
Andy Packer. They brought Andy Packer in.
Yeah. So that would have been about the time then that I remember I was away in France then that season, because I think I'd hoped to have come back down to Priory, but it never really turned out that way.
Cool. As the host of this podcast episode, I feel like we should move on a bit because we've got so much other stuff to talk. I don't know how long we've been going now.
Yeah.
You're in charge.
Yeah. But I mean, is there anything before we move? Is there anything else? Because obviously there's like there's so much more to you guys' mountain board history than we've covered, even though we've covered a lot, like competitions and stuff. Did you guys enter competitions or what? Yeah, what? A bit about that.
I've done a few. We've done a few competitions. Well, not me personally, done a few competitions at the start of when I was mountain boarding more.
Yeah.
Before I become heavily involved full time, because when you're working at a centre full time, you don't really get to travel that much and do the comps, because the comps are on a busy weekend for yourself anyway.
Yeah.
But I've done a few comps. Swanbuck, I got a second in freestyle there. Fuck knows out. I don't do freestyle.
What about you, Dan?
But I got lucky because I was on the team and running the team as such. Doing what AJ did for MBS, I was doing for
Does that mean you got to go on trips and stuff at two events?
Yeah, so I got to go and do I got to live a pretty dream time.
Yeah.
I held the reins and you fucked off.
Yeah. I went off and did that. I mean, but we had a successful team. We won the team championship. Maybe I won't remember some people, but who, like, list what was the team at that time? The team back then, I put in the Masters, we had Scott Ledbetter, I had Nat Reynolds in the ladies, and we also had Annie was riding with us for a little while, and then myself, obviously, bringing home the bacon. We had both Cox brothers, Seb and Dom Cox. I mean, Seb, fuck me, if it, like, I hope he gets back into it and finds more time to do it, because he absolutely ripped as a kid. He won everything.
Yeah.
You know, like, he was
under 14, but he was probably about 12 at the time.
Yeah.
But the height of an 8-year-old.
Yeah. But he just fucking smashed them all. Lester Shrimpton was on there as well. He was bringing home good points.
DC was on there, wasn't he?
DC was on. Who else? I forget his second name, because there was obviously over a couple of seasons. I'm trying to think, and there were a couple of riders that changed. And Pullen was on there for a while.
Yeah, he was a stomper. He was an absolute charger. He was, wasn't he?
Liked a bit of free ride, that lad.
Adam Justice.
Oh, Stu Lugger, Adam Justice. Yeah. They all.
It's quite a big old team then, really.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, that's probably 2 or 3 years worth of riders. I think the team was around about 8 or 9 riders, I think.
Yeah.
But at the time, you was up against in the championships. You'd have been up against the Out to Grass team, up against Team MBS, up
Team
against
Bad.
Team Tramper, Team Bad. It's not like today's one where the team challenge might be Sonny Diven and whatever,
yeah.
And all his mates, which means he's just entering on his own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's the scene was massive.
Yeah,
200 or plus riders.
Yeah, it's quite hard for me to imagine it, or to be honest. But yeah,
it'll return.
Maybe. But Should I go? I don't know where to go next because there is literally, I've written such a massive list of things to talk about, but we've got to do a bit of a quick fire thing now because otherwise we're going for ages. But I'm interested to know about the road trip you guys have planned coming up. Is that something we're allowed to talk about? Your face went like,
yeah, we can talk about that.
I don't know. Do you want to save it till afterwards, or do you want to get people excited about it? Because I'm excited about it. I want to see what you guys get up to.
Well, Sloggs and his lovely lady are doing the itinerary, and that, so they know where we're going and what days and stuff like that. So, well, I say Sloggs. Clair, the wonderful Clair, has done the itinerary. We are gonna.
She's downstairs at the moment, working out miles per gallon.
Yeah.
To work out the fuel costs at the moment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we are going to be going from Land's End to John R. Groats with our boards. We're taking our downhill boards, we're taking our electric boards, we're taking skateboards, and we're going to try and do a travel show of some description.
Going to try and stop off at as many iconic mountain board places and also
some other iconic places that you might not think to mountain board.
Yeah, other places that are iconic in other ways, and we're going to try and mountain board them as well.
Yeah, it's really cool. And how long are you going for? How long is it going to take, do you think, or is it just kind of leave and see what happens?
We've got a 9-day opening. But we've got it down for 7 days, so we've got 2 days free for any fuck ups or anything that happens.
Sitting down with rain or that sort of thing.
Leeway.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
So, other than that, I don't know that really we should be saying too much.
Okay, sorry. I realise I feel like I've overstepped the mark. Maybe I should.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I didn't think about that.
Well, the again, I like editing the videos, as you know, just videos as well, and I'm not very good at it. I'm learning every day, or every time I do something, I'm learning new stuff, and I kind of want to take a bit of a bigger bite with this one, rather than just aiming for a song length video or a couple of songs or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think the trip we all done to Snowdon sort of ignited an urge in us to do something like that, but on a little bit of a grander scale sort of thing. Well, not a grander scale because Snowdon's quite fucking big, but just a little bit different than we've done before.
A longer scale, because obviously Snowdon is like over the space of what, like 4 or 5 hours. This is no, it's cool. I'm looking forward to it. Let's leave it there then. Like something for everyone to look forward to. A really cool film coming out at some point, I guess, but we won't say when.
It might end. I've got to say, if it, who knows? It might end up coming out as, instead of just one, it might come out as a couple of parts or something like that.
I'm looking forward to
it. The
finalities
of it haven't been fully set in yet. We know what we're doing and we know where we're doing it, but we haven't figured out.
Okay.
I'm looking at them because it's pinned to my wall, the UK map there, and I'm looking at like loads of highlighted pen marks all over the shop.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just because you mentioned Snowdon, then I've got a listener question, or what do you call it? Readers' wives.
Readers' wives.
This is well, it's from Clair Slogget, so it's not a reader's wife. What is it? It's
my wife.
Yeah. So
I didn't know you'd done that.
Claire said, in the film Brokeback Mountain, Ennis and Jack are two shepherds who develop a sexual and emotional relationship. Their relationship becomes complicated when both of them get married to their respective girlfriends. You have recently filmed Brokeback Snowden, and who do you both identify with most, Ennis or Jack? No, I haven't seen Brokeback Mountain, so I don't really know. But have you not?
Nor have I.
Nor have I. I'm going to go. Bearing that in mind, I am going to go with. I'm going to
go with a cute one.
I'm going to go with Ennis.
Okay.
The thing is, me and Dan, we've known each other like for so long now. We're best mates, and there's not one part of each other's bodies that we haven't seen repeatedly.
You make out like that. That's the crux of our relationship. The fact that we've seen everything that the other person's got.
That's just something to measure it by. Literally.
There's no jealousy between either of us. We're both equally small.
Cool. Very good. Should I go through? We've got quite a few questions actually, and there's another question from Matt Brind that I don't have, but I know he asked the question, so I don't know whether you guys have got that or not. But if not, we'll just ignore
fuck it.
We've got enough of this. So from Robbey Kinsley, for Dan, this is. Did you really drive the Ride the Hill 4x4 to the airport and ditch it with the company card?
No.
Okay, give us some backstory on that.
I don't know. I've never heard that story before.
Oh, right,
there is something similar.
Okay, maybe it's
right. So
I didn't get the company card bit at the end. Maybe it's meant to say company card. I don't know.
Well, maybe fuel card.
Oh, fuel card. Okay.
Or a credit card. I don't know. I like the sound of it though.
Yeah, I like the sound of it as well. So no, I wouldn't. I don't think I did that. I don't know. I did have a company car with them at the time. I had a big old Mitsubishi Warrior 4x4 that Dave Compton has been bounced around the back of a number of times. So many of the kids around the lanes there just driving around. But when I was leaving to go to France for the last time, I knew that I don't know which of the pack of boys was just learning to drive or about to pass their test. And this was back in a time when cars were like 100 quid, 200 quid. I had a Escort Eclipse, Ford Escort Eclipse. Looked like an XR3i, but it only had like a 1.2 engine in it or something like that. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I left the car at Simon and Liz's with the V5 and the keys and said, here's a car. If your kid wants to have it, they can. If not, take it down the scrappy and do what you want with the money. That was how I remember leaving the country on that particular year.
Like, the way Robbie explains it's way more rock and roll than that.
Well, fuck it. Let's go with Robbie. We'll edit my answer out. Yeah, Robbie. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Oh, man. Fuck it, man. Do you know what? I even pissed and shit in the back before I parked it up.
Didn't you buy your airplane tickets out of the country on the credit card?
Yeah. And then I spent the next 6 months with hookers and fucking just changing it up every night, just rinsing out that company credit card.
All right, should we go on to another question? I should have asked this one after Claire's one, but Sarah Watson asks, when do you consider you consummated your friendship, and when was the defining moment?
Is that my stepmom, Sarah?
No.
Just checking. When did we consummate our?
Yeah.
Well, I know where. I couldn't remember. I couldn't say for certain what time. I mean, it's happened so regular since then. It's hard they all sort of blur into one jizzy wet net. But I can definitely tell you where. Well, and so can Sloggs. I'll let him tell you where.
No, you tell him.
Back of Burn 3.
Always berm 3.
Back of berm 3. That's where we consummated it.
A bug's born.
It doesn't matter what centre you're at. It's always got to be berm 3. Whether berm 3's near a hidden one or an open one, berm 3 is where it all happens. Always has, always will.
You want to go slogging? That's where you need to go. Nice one, Sarah. Pre-club member. Not with me, for the record.
Okay. Next listener question is Don Baker, the previous guest. He says to Dan, since I'm pretty unknown in the UK mountainboarding scene, how did you decide to choose me for an episode?
Well, I'd known of dirt heads for a number of years. I remember doing, well, it probably would have been at Quantox or like the Big Freeze, and they had these. I was big into skateboarding at the time, and they've got like the dirt heads, sort of like in the Thrasher sort of font, hadn't they? Yeah, it just looked cool. And a cone, all these legendary riders were riding on dirt heads, and that, as we know, is Don Baker and Pat McConnell's. I think I've got that right. Pat McConnell's baby, and I think, yeah, I've seen a couple of years back some old photos and of XT riding and stuff, and his name kept cropping up and up, and yeah, that was all I needed. This is the beauty of the dirt, right? I'm quite privileged that I know a lot of the riders. I've been around long enough, been on the competition scene long enough to have made friendships with lots of people around the world. There are some that I haven't had that opportunity to do, and this is why Sloggs said earlier, it's so good for him, because he might not have had the same opportunities that I have had. With the dirt guys, it gives it's like having a superpower to be able to go, I'm going to text or message that person.
Yeah.
And if they say no, then it's not me they're saying no to, they're just saying no to the dirt. You know, or and I've got a reason to call, to get in touch with these people. I've got a reason to try and speak to people and hear their story.
And he was such a good guest as well. Like, that was really interesting, all the history, because it's something like none of us had ever really heard much about before, or us here in the UK anyway.
He's run away. He's got the most view counts. You know, obviously he's well known on that side of the pond, but he's done very well at pushing it out to people as well. He sent
it to me.
Did you watch it after?
I watched it again. Yeah.
There you go.
The thing is, like, he's got so much mountain board history up here that, like, just to have him on to share that wealth to like to me and Dan, and then to everyone else, it was just like, I sat in that whole episode just like that, like just like amazed by it. It was a brilliant episode for us.
Yeah,
I learned so much.
Yeah, so he has this question for you as well, Sloggs, which is kind of interesting, and I'd love to hear about it. Is to Sloggs, do you have any other famous family members, since it was recently discovered that I'm Claire's long lost uncle and we are officially family? What's all that about?
I've got no idea. That must have been a private conversation between Don and Claire. I'm interested in that one, but I'll be very happy.
Yeah,
you've got an uncle in Scotland, haven't you?
Yeah,
I think if I'm sure it was your uncle. Yeah, he owns the Tunnock's Wafer Biscuit Factory. 4.2 million bought and sold every week.
I've lost on that one. I don't get that. Let's move on. Well, I got a video question. I think you may have seen this one already. I'll hold it up to the thing like you do, but we'll edit in afterwards. This is from. Oh, hang on. Can you see that?
Yeah.
How often do you check your gear? Do you check it every time you ride? What's more fun, walking your line or just sending it down a line? Bit of safety questions.
He's on a kite buggy.
Yeah.
I can't actually hear what he's saying.
He basically said, how often do you
Who is it?
It's from Kite
All
and
things
Board
kite
Shop.
and surf.
Kite and something, yeah, kite and surf or kite and board. But he basically asked, how often do you check your setup or check your board before you ride, or do you just go and send it? Well, and he asked that question while riding one of those 3-wheel buggy things you control with your feet. I don't know what they're called.
Ross is his name.
Okay.
Kite buggy, yeah. I check my e-board. Very rarely check my other boards.
Yeah, I think the downhill boards are pretty bulletproof for the most part. I might push my thumb in the tyres and see if they're all there. But the E-Best needs a bit of TLC constantly. You keep an eye on certain parts that might wear and stuff like that. I try to get a service, like a proper all the way through service once a year on it. Or after like, yeah, I mean, yeah. But like for example, after doing Snowdon, I think we went straight up and had a check over after that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, only really on the wear parts, but I know where all those.
It's kind of a more you kind of, when something goes wrong, you check it, don't you?
Yeah. That's it. Just throw me up and the truck's in 2 pieces. What's happened here then? Yeah, let me check the rest of the board while it's apart.
Right, so we've got a question from Dave Compton here, DC, and he's got a video as well, so I'll show you this.
Can you turn your I tell you why we can't hear it is because you're
it's because I'll bring this closer. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey Dan and Sloggs, how's it going? Congratulations on your 25th ep, and thanks for making the dirt as well, because listening to it is definitely what started getting me back into mountain boarding this spring, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I don't think I would have got back into it without listening to the podcast and hearing mountain boarders talk to each other and old friends from like the good old days. So yeah, cheers for making it. My question is, what is your best story from when you two worked at XBP together and were like the dream team or the team from hell, depending on how you look at it? I mean, I would definitely say dream team. But yeah, what's the worst thing you got up to, and did Liz and Simon know? Cheers, bye.
Now, hearing Dave,
I know what's got to come here. I know what's got to come.
Hearing Dave say that about the dirt putting him back on his board, just if that's the only thing that can happen from the dirt ever, then we've achieved something out of it. That just, for me, that makes me so happy.
That lad used to come on board with me as my wingman, if you will, on the competition trips when he was like 14, 15 years old, and he was always good fun, and he's still good fun now. And I'm so glad that he's put up his dancing boots and put on his mountain board trainers, because it's great to see him back on.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But Sloggs, I think probably, I don't know whether we should tell the we was hoping to have, I've never done this before. We was hoping to have Roger on from Knockhill, and we do still hope to have Roger on very soon. But I know that there's one story that Sloggs likes to remind me of that it involves Rogers. So we'll go into it now, but it may well, for the viewers, it may well come up again in Rogers' episode when that happens. So did Simon and Liz know about it? Yeah, they found out about it.
Or did they fucking ever? Are you telling it or am I?
No, you.
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
I was obviously far too out of it.
It was Roger's stag do. And he decided to have his stag do up at Bowsworth, up at Super Bowl. Is this a story you're on about, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And it was messy. And I mean, really, really, really fucking messy. And Simon and Liz had just bought us all these brand new jackets, ski jackets with Ride the Hill emblazoned on, like all the Ride the Hill colours. And they were brand new. They looked lovely.
Yeah, they were really warm and thick, like for the winter.
And like really white panels at the front and down the arms with like oranges and stuff on them, and like Ride the Hill on the back and a little crest there. She was like, here you go, lads. We were like, oh, cheers, thank you very much. She's like, look after these. These are quite expensive jackets and stuff. She's like, yeah. We was like, you're going to look after them. That night, because she gave them to us because we were doing, did we do a scout group that week?
Group, yeah, there was a scout
so
group.
we had a scout jamboree or jumboree, whatever they call them, there that weekend as well. So we'd done the scout group during the day, and then the evening we had Roger's party. And it just got messy. We were all sat down in Dan's caravan at the time. And we had all these neon crack sticks, you know, the glow sticks. But we were cutting the tops off them and throwing them at each other, just like splashing the liquid at each other. And the whole of the fucking, it just looked like, it looked like a paintball had gone off, a glow stick paintball in the thing. Dan had his jacket on and he was mashed. He didn't even know where he was, let alone like that he had his jacket on. I didn't have my jacket on. I don't think Roger had his on either. Next morning, we all stumbled out. Dan's jacket is fucking glowing. It's fucking ruined. She hit the fucking roof at him. We all just stood there laughing. And she was like, it's not funny. He got so much trouble for it. Brilliant.
That was only some of the liquids that were in that bloody caravan that Mark Hale talked about when he took over. But yeah, there were a number of we were never in trouble, but we were always mischievous. You know, like we have little games between us that we'll play. Sloggs' favourite at the moment is international cocker balls. But we used to do all sorts of things, trying to spit rabbit poo at each other at competition, out of our noses into each other's mouth. But there was just, it was always just fun and giggles. And sometimes they got a little bit carried away. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Nobody ever got hurt apart from age. No, that wasn't involved with us. But that we were taking one for the team, the pad monkeys and that. Like if you fucked up or didn't do something, or you had to, you know, there's Nerf balls you could throw. Well, with us doing that, if either of us fucked up or didn't do anything, you had to take one for the team, and you had to
like
with your hand behind your back and your eyes closed whilst the other one.
Like the whistling things.
Yeah,
like the
launch the Nerf ball straight.
Take the balls up so they didn't whistle. They were like silent. You never knew when they were coming.
But yeah, that'd get launched. Preferably at your nuts was the 3-pointer shot, really, isn't it? But yeah, anything like that we was up for.
Yeah, nice. That's it for listener readers' wives' questions. Apart from, I'm sure Matt told me he sent a question, but I don't know where it's gone. He hasn't sent it to me. Whether he sent it to the Dirt Instagram or something, I don't know.
Do you want me to have a quick look?
You can do, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a written one here. There is a written one here from Matt. It says, "Hi Dan and Sloggs. Just wanted to say thank you for putting on the dirt. You two are my absolute heroes, and I've always wanted to be just like you. Can we hang out more this summer, please? And if there's anything that me and Slog can do to help with his style, then that'd be great." It's not so much really a question, more of a statement, Matt. More of a statement.
Fair enough, though.
Wow. I did teach him the board slide.
There you go. You asked earlier about who was your not a first timer. Slog's taught Matt how to board slide.
Fair play.
He's never done one since.
Yeah, he's not very good at them, though, is he? You don't pull them out very often.
Doesn't do a scorpion off the end either, which is a shame.
I'm not teaching them every fucking trick.
Well, I've got a couple of questions. Because I know Sloggs, you're into your old mountain boards and you're always asking about setups and stuff. I want to know what is your favorite mountain board? It doesn't have to be your favorite to ride, but it can just be kind of for any reason, whether it's like nostalgic or like a certain design or like a, I don't know, like a milestone board, or like what is your favorite mountain board?
The old Comp 16, the pale green one. Like, I've got size 11 feet, and like I tend to pull my feet over the skinnier ones and like monkey grip them else. But the Comp 16, when it was that width, was just, it's perfect for me, and I love it still.
What about you, Dan?
That's your current setup?
Is that your current setup? No,
that's not my current setup. I'm riding a bulk standard Leon Robbins.
Yeah, well, we're here actually. Go through what you're riding at the moment.
Right, so I've got a bulk standard Leon Robbins that I ride, which was my friend Adam's. Now, Adam died a few years back. Dan knows him. Dan done a few seasons with him snowboarding. Adam Schickel. He was a really good snowboarder and an absolute belter of a lad. He was my best man at my wedding. He was godparent to my firstborn. So he died a few years back. But when I went for Ride the Hill for Christmas, I bought him a Leon Robbins, and all he used to, he was a snowboard. So he just used to carve it around. So it was in pristine condition. And when he died, his wife and his two children wanted me to have it. So I'm currently riding that, and I haven't changed a thing on it. And I don't intend to, but I don't want to fuck it up too much. So I'm going to move. I've got a Comp 16. One of the old wider ones that I was mentioned just now. I've got one of them that I'm currently about to set up. But the trouble is, because I don't want to change anything on it, the rims are starting a 50p on it now, because he has it as spec.
Okay, yeah.
There it is.
Nice. It's got the old bindings on it still as well.
Yeah. It's exactly the same as it was when it came out the box. He didn't change anything on it, so that's what I'm currently riding, and for that reason.
Yeah. Oh, nice. How about you, Dan? What's your favorite mountain board of all time, and then what are you riding at the moment?
My favorite owned mountain board, the one that has the most memories for me. I have two boards that have the most memories. That one there, the no snow deck there, because that was, like I said in the Pete Tatham episode, he gave me that deck I was riding like an old purple one that you could literally just push down to the ground with your hand when I was out in France, and he came out and visited and he gave me that, and for the rest of the time out in France I rode that set up there. So that was my sort of ultimate free ride board. But then
did you ride that with 9-inch wheels then, did you?
Yeah. Yeah. 9-inch wheels, and I didn't have like the Hope disc brake setup. I had a Magura rim brake style setup on it. And yeah, my main board that has seen me through most of my comps I actually retired last year because I nicked some bits off it to put onto my current ride, and that was same as Sloggs, a Comp 16, one of the old green ones. I had one like that at the time, and for the same reason as Sloggs, I wanted it wider underfoot. One of them came up, and I traded, because I had access to the higher fleet, I traded in my Comp 16 for one of those and some peripheral bits, and set up the old Comp 16 with new components on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But my current setup is I'll show you. It used to be set up on the wall there, but it's right here because we're all doing the dirt. That's that least the collab.
Nice.
Collab with all tramp around, and then the barrels, but tramper parts all round. MBS
wheels,
Rockstar
yeah.
Pros, and yeah, that there I managed to lay my hands on that collab deck thanks to Adam David, who switched over to Hero a little while ago and had that knocking around, and I said, boom, I'll take that, because for the same reason it's wider, and the things that I didn't like about the Comp 16 don't exist on that collab. So when you drill out to the Comp 16 for newer bindings or whatever, you've got to have them set really close to where the bend in the deck is. So if you overdo it too much into that bend, it can weaken the deck itself.
Yeah.
So you can end up with quite a thin stance on the old Comp 16s, where that one, the collab, you've still got the width underfoot, you can get a wider stance, and also there's concave underfoot as well. So all the things that I didn't like about the Comp 16, the collab addressed.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Another question is, like, well, obviously I'm into mountain board films and stuff. What is your favorite mountain board film? I'm hoping it's going to be an old school one that I've not heard of, but talk us a bit, I don't know, a few maybe. What are your favorite mountain board films of the times?
Oh, crikey.
Sorry.
This is more Dan, because I haven't really got the patience to sit through anything for too much.
It doesn't have to be a long.
The first ones I remember seeing would have been some of the old mountain board video magazines and stuff like that on VHS. It was the Ride the Hill. They'd done Dirty Tricks 1 and 2, and somebody posted up about this the other day. What was it? What's the American Dirt Riders or something? 2. I can't know, but with all the like the bomb squad and that hitting Moab back in the day, they were wicked videos to watch. I like the BFC ones, but again, I was privy to filming with them boys on both, on 2 of the 3 other videos there.
Yeah.
So I have very fond memories of those videos.
Yeah.
Side note, Jack, bit gutted I didn't get more exposure in there. The only clip that I got was bloody trying to do an endo and going over the front. Yeah, great. Cheers for that, mate. Get you boys out to France and you show me fucking falling over. Never mind that I'd just ridden down everybody. Oh, Biron rode that massive fucking hill, that massive mountain in France, sent it all the way down. Who's riding there every fucking day? Who shows him where to ride? Who wrote down the same thing? Did Jack do me? No. I'm going to fight that kid next time I see him, Jack Johnston. But yeah. So I suppose those are probably my favourites because of the involvement.
Yeah.
I like the BFC ones as well. What I did like was Pete Hills. He put one out when he was like really young, like riding hills, I think it was. And he was like really young at the time, and he come in like really chuffed for this edit he'd done. He had like a stack of DVDs of it, and he asked if he could sell them like through the shop. So yeah, mate. So look, we put a fucking just a pile of them on the counter in the centre for him to sell, and just things like that.
Yeah.
Like
honourable mention on the videos, I got to say, the 1-5 media crew,
yes,
with Shrout Down and Hot Action. Both of those, the production values.
That's what they seemed like. Were super high production value back then.
Yeah.
It seemed just like a step ahead of everything else.
Yeah,
it's super cool.
I think I will say that I think my favourite video part. There's a few, but Mason Moore's, he did that little ride along with Mason, where he's like nose manualing up a flat bank, and then I think he may pivot on the top and then nose manuals back.
Oh, what? Is that a skate park?
No, it's like on a street section. I'll find it for you.
I feel like I've seen
no, hang on. You haven't got to find it for him. Amon's hosting. He's got to find all these clips. You've got a week off, Dan.
Oh no.
But yeah, he put together a video part there, and I think the ender of I might be getting too confused because they're quite similar. I think there's an overlapping footage on some of them, but I'm pretty sure the ender is him going for a triple backflip, but then you never see him ride out of it.
It seems to ring a bell. That does.
Yeah.
There's something else like that was quite a how do you say it? Can't say the word. Controversy. Controversy. That's it.
You still didn't say it right.
I've got a bit of a list for stuff like that. I can't say it. Anyway, Cody doing like a 540 to board slide thing. Yeah. In the I think it's in Hot Action, but it could be Sharp Down. But in that you never really see, or there's like a cut between the two. It's like he does a 540, then you see a cut, and there's a board slide. So
I mean, to be fair to the Americans, there was a far bigger pool of good riders back then for freestyle. You know, like we had some. Don't get me wrong, the crew on the UK scene at that time and before were sending it, but the Americans, as Pete Tatham said, the Americans have always really owned the freestyle. We've owned the downhill, but there are always exceptions to those rules on both sides, aren't there? So, you know, that we could all reel off those exceptions.
Definitely. Cool. I've obviously got the 10 set, but is it all right to talk about the UK champs and Eeb-it?
Yeah.
A little bit. Well, just to like mention first off, I don't think we've released the date for Eeb-it yet, so I'm going to do that now, and it's the 13th and 14th of August, which is a similar weekend to what it was last year, at Bugs Boarding, and it'll pretty much be hopefully the same as last year, because last year was really good. We'll change the tracks a little bit, and yeah, that's pretty much it really. There's hopefully going to be a lot more coming out about that very shortly.
Well, you've made me super happy in some ways.
Despite
the fact I booked 20th and 21st off of work to go to Eeb-it.
Have you? Oh no.
Well, I had. Under some insider information, and then it turned out.
Who told you it was that?
I don't want to drop a minute, Matt Brind.
And for those of you who ride electric, who didn't go last year, it was a phenomenal event, and it was so much fun and a good laugh.
Yeah, I think Andy Brind explained it in his episode probably better than I'm not really going to explain things, but yeah, it's just super fun, and everyone, especially because it was all kind of so new as well, and hopefully this year is going to be even better because a lot of people saw what happened last year and got excited about it, and they're going to come this year hopefully.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's not really a massive competition sort of vibe. It's just kind of going there to have fun really. Although I say that, like, I know as soon as I get in a race, all I can see is red mist and want to win it. But...
That's it. We need to sort out There's going to be. I'm going to make sure I've got a working remote this year. So is Sloggs, because Sonny Gibbon's not clean sweeping me this year, and you boys are not going to clean sweep the podiums this year.
No, hopefully not. And it's like this. A year's quite a long time, and it's still so new. Like a lot. There's going to be a lot of changes, I think, over this past year.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
I absolutely had a great time last year. I'm so thankful that you guys put it on. I really am.
Yeah. Like I say, there'll be some changes to the time trial track, because there's bikers been building loads of tracks there and stuff, and just the landscape's changed, and it'd be cool to make it different anyway. I'm playing with the idea, or we're playing with the idea of changing the time, the pre track to go like around the campsite a bit more, have it maybe longer and have like tents around it so people can gather around it. But that might affect insurance itself and safety a little bit, but that would kind of be cool. Maybe have it a bit longer. And then obviously there's the border cross racing as well. There was a lot of people saying they wanted it uphill last year, but I still think that it'd probably be better downhill, but that's not fully decided yet, to be honest. But either way, it should be a lot of fun. So yeah,
maybe here's an idea for you. I know you've got the time trial, event, but why not start your border cross at the bottom of the hill?
I thought about that earlier.
Not necessarily. I'm not saying ride up the border cross.
No, like ride up
somewhere else,
come down it.
As opposed to the top of the hill where normal downhills would start. If you
definitely an option.
Up the road, not the road, the vehicle track or something like that. You could race up there along the top.
Yeah.
Over the mound and in.
Yeah.
Bad idea, Dan.
Definitely.
Then you've got to start and a finish at the same point, haven't you?
Yeah, and it would definitely spread it out a lot as well.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely, and like say if someone had a super powerful board, they're going to take the lead going up the hill, but then the rest of the people can try and catch up in the corners and stuff. I think that would be cool.
Your skills will come back into it on the downhill bit.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean that's about it for Eeb-it really at the moment. We need to try and get some more stuff out there and give some more. And like tickets aren't for sale just yet, but the website will be all sorted and tickets will be up there soon. A similar kind of deal to last year, but it'll probably just be a rider and a non-rider ticket, which brings me on to the ATBA, like the UK champs for mountainboarding. The same with that. There's just going to be 2 tickets, a non-rider ticket and a rider ticket. Well, it's not a ticket, you're like a fee on the gate. So there's actually no cost to enter the competition, which is in the effort to try and make it a bit more it helps with peer pressure as well, because if you come to the event and you're riding at the center, then there's no reason why you shouldn't enter the competition. So hopefully get more people into that. And then going on,
say the dates again, Amon?
The dates for the UK champs are the 30th and 31st of July.
How convenient. Do you know what? That's our wife's birthday weekend.
No way. I think is it not at the same place you're doing that?
What? You guys organised the championships to be at Bugs?
Yeah, Bugs Boarding, in Gloucester.
Amazing.
Just outside Maisemore.
No way.
We've managed to get most of the mountain board community from the UK to come along to the wife's birthday so we can share.
We should actually work together with this.
Yeah.
But there's a few exciting things to talk about with that. The one I'm super excited about is there's 2 zones for the freestyle this year. So we're going to have basically a jib comp, like a jam format in the jib at Bugs Boarding, and as well as a zone in the freestyle area, which will include not just the big line of jumps, but all the little jumps around it, like the rainbow rail, obviously the quarter at the bottom, like that whole area. So yeah, 2 zones. I think the points will be an overall of those 2 zones. So it obviously makes it a lot more inviting for the kids. And there's a lot of kids there at Bugs, which is really cool to see. And hopefully we'll get those guys entering as well, and girls. So yeah, kind of opens it up a bit and makes it a bit more interesting. I love a jib, so I'm super excited for that. I may even enter this year. But yeah, and then other changes are masters are over 35. I think everyone knows about that one, but that's a little change. Um,
I still think it should be over 45.
Yeah,
well, me, Scotty and Roo Dog, that'll be it.
How old's Brind? Is he 35 yet?
Not sure.
Not sure. I don't know.
Oh.
Not sure.
Well, hopefully he'll man up and race the bloody pros like the rest of us anyway.
Yeah. Sonny Dibbin. Then also exciting is not happened yet, but it is the plan to put an inside berm on the first two corners of the border cross track, which is hopefully going to open it up a bit for the races, because before there's a little bit of a problem where whoever got into the first corner first, it was like a struggle to get past them, but now going to be some more lines opened up, and potentially making just like some of the features a lot bigger. Like there's some straights on the track that have got rollers who over time have just kind of like flattened out. So hopefully with making the rollers bigger, we'll be able to get a bit more speed out of them. There's some track changes coming hopefully, and the freestyle line already kind of done apart from the last jump, but they're going to be hopefully running the same as they were like ages ago, like 2009 sort of time when they were kind of at the prime.
I've seen the footage that you put up, and they are looking stonking. Yeah,
excited. I'd done some test runs and it is super gnarly. Like I forget how fast the thing is. Like it's super, like from the first jump to the second jump, it's just like you're on one of those like Mario Kart, the speed
stripes.
Yeah, so scary. But that'll be fun. But yeah, obviously the other jumps around it are part of the comp as well, so it's not like everyone's got to do all their tricks on those big booters. That's about and the downhill track. There's not a downhill track at Bugs at the moment, but the plan is to get one in, which will at the moment it's going to start. Say if you're looking up the hill, the top left where the border cross start is, it's going to start above the first berm and then kind of cross the track. And then there's like a big grass area in between the first and the second straight. Kind of weave through there and then incorporate the new bike track that's there. I'd do like a couple berms of that. Through the bowl, like maybe going over the drops into the bowl, and then potentially the pond jump as well, but with like a chicken run around it if you don't want to do the pond jump. But yeah, kind of like weave down the hill that way. That's the plan anyway.
There was some work being done on the pond jump this week.
Yeah. So the quarter pipe that was at Hart Hill is now at Bugs, and there was some like other parts with that, just flat kind of parts. I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't know what they are. They're like big flat platforms basically, but we've used a couple of those. Or I've not, Bugs or whoever else has done it has used a couple of those as the pond jump to get over it. And then obviously the quarters at the bottom of the freestyle, and there's those big dish things as well. Well, not they're parts of the quarter, but we're going to use them as dishes, like in-out features, like what do you call it, whale tail somewhere. I haven't quite worked out where to put those yet, but they'll be somewhere, which will be fun.
Can they put can they like dig an Astra back into the side of the hill, please?
That would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like a Vauxhall Cavalier or an Astra.
To be honest, we're running out of space there. There's so many. The bikers have been crazy, like building all winter, and then we've got to put downhill track in. There's running out of space for Astras, to be honest, but maybe we can squeeze all in somewhere.
I'll get you a Matchbox one, Dan.
Yeah.
I'll just jump like. We'll have to have it really close to camera, and I'll jump really far away.
Yeah. That's about it, really. I don't know if you guys got any questions about UK champs or Eeb-it or anything.
But we have got an announcement for the champs.
Ah, yes, you have. Yeah, go for it. Take it away.
Well, Sloggs, you do this. I chat too much shit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well,
yeah, you do.
So, as some of you, the viewers, may know,
yes, I do.
All right, there you go.
Go on, Sloggs.
No, you do it. No, you go for it.
I do have a few boards knocking around, especially of late. I've gone for a bit of a purple patch of picking up a few old boards that like an old ride the hill board with a blade and stuff knocking about. But what we're going to do is we're hoping to come along to the Champs. We're going to have a little tent set up, hopefully, to enable a few people to come in, and inside the tent or in the area outside, because this is also going to involve the community, hopefully. We are organising a sort of like a spit and shine, or what was it you called it?
Show and shine your
A show and shine. That's a spit and shine, isn't it?
Spit and rub.
We're going to bring out all the old rarities and oddities from the board world, like frame boards, WB Unlimiteds and stuff like that. And anyone who wants to bring along any of their old stuff and let everyone have a go on it, so people can just take them up the hill, have a rag down.
Or I guess, like, will there be random creations as well? Because I know at Bugs they have like a skateboard with one of those grass sledge tracks on the bottom. Does stuff like that count? Like weird, wonderful creations.
If you've got an oddity, a mountain board related oddity, or be it a retro board, you know, say you've got an old Comp 16 or one like that, or a green one, or you know, an old razor or a blade knocking
a dirt
about.
Surfer as well. I've
dirt
just have a go on a dirt
surfer.
surfer.
Like the old three-wheeler Outback, stuff like that. I've got a loco board that I'm going to bring along. But any of those sorts of things, bring them along. Let everybody have a look at these. There's no point in just having them sat in our garages, covering dust,
polishing them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying it would be nice for everybody to go and pick up a board and go and have like a little mass descent down the grass there, and just maybe feel what the pioneers who designed these boards all those years ago, without egg shocks in, and you know, the weight of a frame board, and having ergo bindings as opposed, or post bindings as opposed. If you haven't had a go on those, come and have a go. You know, just a bit of the mountain board history to offer to people, to whether it be to look at, to ride, to do whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be really cool.
If you've got an old ride and you come into the Champs, please bring it along. If no one else wants to look at it, me and Sloggs do.
Definitely.
Paul Carter, bring all 20 of your Comp 16s.
Your fleet.
The fleet.
What about maybe this? What about like a, don't know, some sort of trading system? If someone's got some like multiple of old boards,
like a
maybe
swap shop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Look, I've got loads of old shit down there. What about these sorts of things? Look, rubber post. You can stick them on. God only knows what board is going to.
Another idea. What you should have is talk to Sam Nicholas and get him to bring all his mountain board t-shirts and have a t-shirt museum there as well.
Yeah, there you go. That we could seriously, Sam, if you would do that. Bring them all. We'll get them on coat hooks and we can put them around the inside of the tent so people can see through the ages. You know, if anybody's daft, you've got your old copies of ATB mag. Bring them along. Let people have a look at them. You know, we'll try not to jizz on the pages or whatever. But yeah, that sort of thing. Look, this stuff.
If you've got something of interest, something old, something rare, something odd from the mountain board community, and you want to show it off, bring it to the Champs. We'll stick it in the tent.
That's it. Old Scuzz mags. I'd love to read some old Scuzz mags again. You know, or the little round one, or Glencoe, or whatever, Scotland, ATBA. Yeah, stuff like that. You know, obviously, you know, make a note of if you, write your name on the bottom of it so you don't get confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, bring it along. Let everybody have a bit of pleasure. If you don't want people to ride your board, say don't want it to ride. Not to be ridden. Stick a sticker on it. Not to be ridden. Look with your eyes, not with your feet.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Should we go onto the 10 set?
Do it.
Yeah.
We've been going for a long time now.
We have
We'll be on
actually,
it
yeah.
the longest episode.
Sorry, everybody.
It's all right. We've got an hour and a
Hopefully
half
it's
before
been
we get to
interesting.
Steve Burtbeck's length. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Yeah, straight off then. So what's the go on, Sloggs, do the little intro. What is it? I can't remember what you say now. You say the same thing every week.
Oh, don't think about it too much. Just say the first thing that comes in your head.
Yeah, okay. So you should be good at this.
Oh, set up there, Amy.
Because it just goes. It just
I didn't even
yappers
plan
off
that.
somewhere.
Okay, regular or goofy? Dan, you're like first on my screen, so we'll start with you, then go to Sloggs. Regular or goofy?
Reg, obs.
Reg.
Nice. Park or free ride?
And this is harder than it feels because like everything inside it's not really a competition. I would go with free ride every time, but I fucking love a good centre. Oh, I fucking love mountain boarding.
Nowadays, it's got to be free ride all over it. That's what gets me going, especially now we've got the electrics as well.
Yeah.
It's just opened up the free ride so much. And I think because I've spent so much time in a park, I still love a fucking park, but I've had my fill. So I don't feel like saying free riding's wrong, because down here it's free riding Mecca. We've got so much. Me and Dan are so lucky.
With the Eebs, as we said, with the Eebs.
With so much good riding down here, I'd go free ride every time.
But would you consider, because like with the e-boarding, a lot of the stuff I ride anyway, and I think you guys are similar, it is mountain bike trails. And is that classed as free ride or is that a park? Debatable. I don't know.
No. Well, you could argue that you're following a trail there. A well-used trail, so that
because I guess the definition of free ride,
isn't it? So
yeah,
of description. So somewhere like Randwick or Cleve, those are classic free ride spots, aren't they?
They're a free ride, but I think the stuff that we ride down here is not so pristine as the trails you've got up there. Ours are are still rough and ready.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't much topsoil in Cornwall.
It's all You're down to subsoil and granite and slate, like instantly.
Yeah. No, cool. All right. Next question. Favorite centre, past or present? This is
should have at least had a thought about these beforehand, shouldn't you? I would have to say, I mean, just purely based on memories, that it would probably be XBP.
It's the same for me. My heart will always be at XBP.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. I should have asked this one before because it linked onto the last question, but favorite free ride spot?
I'm going Courchevel again because of the amount of time that I spent there. So that whole valley, well, the three valleys, all that area, there's more terrain in summertime than there is in wintertime, believe it or not, because you could go all the way down to the mountain. You like,
I've been there, but I'd love to see it in the summer.
To Brind Laban, it was like 30 odd kilometers, 30 plus kilometers, and
that's crazy.
And that's without electricity. And you don't. I remember you can do that, and only stop to walk once for about less than 100 meters.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's the bollocks that was.
What about you, Slogg? Have you been to Courchevel?
No. So I'd have to choose Snowdon.
Oh, that was pretty good.
That was my experience of big Alp riding in the UK, because I never experienced that when Dan was lucky enough to do it, and that was intense.
Yeah. Is that actually what it's like? Is a lot of the terrain out there in Courchevel similar to that, Dan?
Yes and no. I mean, when we did Snowdon, we obviously followed the Llanberis path, didn't we?
Yeah.
And a lot of that path now is quite well kept, but there were sections of that path that were just fucking horrendous, weren't there?
Yeah.
I mean, like we said at the time, we rode all the way down, but getting up, lumps that big when you've got stair set, effectively rock stairs, it's just an impossibility to ride up those, but you can ride down them.
Yeah. But
when I was in France again, so a lot of vehicle access roads out there, and Courchevel's not known for its like mountain biking in the same way as other alpine resorts are.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of mountain bike trails around there that would take you off around the top of Crewe Bowl. That area there's good runs there. I mean, that's where Behrens run.
Oh,
from.
Is it? Oh, cool.
Yes, he was just coming down the top of Crewe Bowl there. But yeah, there's like single track up there that would go all over and between where is it, like the Latagna and Le Prat trees, there's loads of bike trails back in there that are good to ride.
Cool. Jump or rail?
Jump.
Rail. I was always a rail monkey back in the day. Loved the fucking rail.
Have you done much rails before, Dan? Or have you kind of stayed away from them?
Yeah. So I've yeah.
What, stayed away from them?
Well, yeah, they scare me a bit. I've smashed my face open once or twice, like chins. I've had multiple shoulder injuries, falling out of. It always seems board slides and front and back board slides or lip slides, whatever. That style always seems to bite me. And I'm fine on a snowboard. I seem to be like boxes and stuff like that. Don't mind jibbing a box, doing some butters and stuff like that across boxes. More than happy on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just seem to have had some big hefty falls that have really mashed me up. On rails.
And Sloggs, are you going to be doing the rails then at the UK Champs this year in the gym?
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to you board sliding the whole, the really long one that's kind of steps down halfway.
Yeah.
Board sliding the whole of that.
I really want to get back into rails after the session we had at Bugs the other week. Because I try and board slide anything, and I used to be able to. I just go for it. I used to be able to. Well, I wouldn't be able to do it, but I'd give it a good go. Board slide a rainbow rail, like I'd give it a fucking go. And I used to just love board slides all the time.
Cool.
At one point down at XBP, we had a 20-meter big yellow gas pipe.
20 meter.
Was that like right before the
20
quarterfinal?
meter.
Yeah, it was huge. We stole it from. They were laying all the gas pipes around Nutfield. We went out in the middle of the night.
You know what I mean? 20 foot.
No, it was long.
20 meters. If it's the one I think it is, I remember doing it when I was younger. And I can't imagine it was 20. That 20 meters is a long way.
Oh, maybe not 20 meters. There's footage somewhere of it. We'll go 10 meters then. It was long, but it was so slippery as well.
Is it just before the quarter pipe, like the other side of the hedge to the? Do you know what I mean?
It was on the Red Run. We used to have it just below the freestyle jump.
The big air.
Okay, maybe that's not the one that I did. There was one like just before the quarter pipe that I remember doing.
There were a couple of rails on that bank of land before the quarter pipe back in the day.
Yeah.
It was long. Like we dragged it back. We hooked it up to the turrets on the Jeep, and a few of the pad monkeys rode it back. It was big. There must be some footage around of it. Somewhere you'll have to find that, Amon. It's your job.
All right, next question. Board across or freestyle?
Board across for me.
Board across.
Yeah, I thought that was a given. I just thought it's asking the general 10-set questions, but I expected you both to go board across there.
I've never been very good at going in the air.
Yeah.
It frightens me a little bit.
Yeah. What's this isn't one of the questions, but like maybe what's a board across race that stood out to you in your mountainboarding lifetime?
Out to grass.
Not a track, because that's a question coming up, but a race.
A race.
Nice one, Sloggs. Ruined your own fencer.
Swanbuck one year, I can't remember what year it was, with Burbeck. I got caught up in the long grass on one of the tables because I was being edged out to the outside of the track. I just hit the top of the table. I just completely winded myself. But Burbeck was like talking shit in the gates beforehand, and he had me like really jittery.
What about you, Dan?
I'm not sure I can really remember. I have a couple of memorable races. But I don't want to say one of them because you'll ask me my favourite track, and it was on my favourite.
Okay, well, do you want to move on? We'll move on.
Go on, and I'll tell.
Well,
give us that question
yeah,
next. I'll give you both the answers for
Go on
that.
then. Best board across track or favourite board across track?
Lodge de Garde. And that place is memorable to me because there weren't many features on it, and it wasn't very wide. There were only 2-man racing at the time on that track, but it was in through the trees, and it was like those speeder bikes on Endor, you know, like I don't know if we were going that far. I think it was quite a fast track, but the feeling of speed because of going past the trees all the time was like heightened. But the reason why it was so memorable is because I was having a stonking session there and made it to the finals, and I was racing Stu Lugger in the finals. And we came round one of the corners and we came round cuddling, and he was on the inside of me and I was on the top of the berm. And we just drifted, the pair of us drifted further and further and further towards the top of the berm. And round the top of the berm, now had all that plastic barrier tape, you know, like with the holes in it that are just big enough to get an 8-inch wheel through.
Yeah.
And that happened. And me and him pulled out a shitload of the fencing along the top of the berms. I was literally wrapped up in it. The board was all wrapped up in it, everything. And he wasn't wrapped up at all. And I just remember looking down at my board thinking, fuck, it looks like a cat's cradle down here. And then I look up at him as he looks at me and like that. And then he just tic-tacs off, rides down the rest of the course and fucking won. I was like that. No. And I was on it there. I was overtaking him at that point. I'm telling you. I was on such good form there. Like Pete says, because I was living out there all the time, and my days off in the summertime, I was just going out and riding.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just I was having such a good season that year.
Were you riding a no snow at that point then?
When I was at that event, I'd have been riding my green Comp 16 or yellow, as it was, as I coloured it. But
yeah,
for free, I only ever used the no snow for free ride. Out there, I
guess that's where it was made for.
Yeah. The terrain that was out there. That was the right tool for that job.
So, Sloggs, what's your? I forgot what the question was now. Favorite board across track?
Right. Out to grass with just sheer fun. It was a great track for that, but hair down for scaring the fucking pants off you. Because if you didn't get it down it clean, you come down shredded. Like your clothing, like sometimes just literally hanging off because it just the flint. It was a gnarly track, man. The top half of it was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's a good centre hair down. That was when I remember on my episode when you guys was interviewing me, we couldn't remember the name of it. That was the centre that I couldn't remember the name of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good centre.
Thanks, Matt. Matt put in the comments after that.
Yeah. So flip or spin. I know both of you guys are trying to get flips back. I can't remember whether. Well, sorry. Answer the question first. Flip or spin. But
I think it's got a. Certainly after last week at the foam pit, I had a good time dialing those flips back in. So right now, I'd say flips.
Okay, what about you, Sloggs?
I've never done a flip to dirt back in the day because I just wouldn't do freestyle. It's only this year that I've said, right, I'm gonna do one, and I want to get one done just so I can just get one to dirt and just say, don't have to do one again.
Yeah.
So, I've only ever been able to pull a 3 maximum anyway on a spin. I'm like not a freestyler at all, but I'll go flip because I'm desperate to get one this year.
I think you got it. I think watching you do them at Ramp World, it's definitely in your head is where the problem is. It's because no, I don't. That sounds really bad saying that.
No, you're right.
But I mean, you got it in foam. You were fine, but as soon as got on the jump, it was like you were doing it was like you were a different rider. It's so different. Your head just didn't.
It's a head
didn't
fuck
go round.
But,
yeah. But you'll get there.
I just want it to happen this year. I want to get one to dirt.
Maybe that's where you need to change your mindset there, because if you're thinking about it, I just want to learn flips and I want to do them all the time, rather than just thinking, I just want to do one and then sack it off.
Oh, you think I should make a career out of doing flips?
No, I think you should just go in. I think you should just go into it like with the mindset that you're going to do more than one when you land it.
Maybe I should do that. We'll try that.
Yeah.
But
you need three in a row, and then it's your trick. Come on, you know the rules.
I thought it was 10.
10 in a row.
10, that's what I remember Rennie telling me once that you got to do it 10 times to be able to like get it. Maybe not claim it, but like be comfortable doing it.
I mean, from back in my youth, classic skateboard claim is if you make the trick 3 times in a row, it's your trick.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool.
We need a longer track for Sloggs to do 3 tricks in a row, 3 backflips in a row.
Oh yeah, I don't mean like doing them like continuously.
Oh, I do.
I mean land it 10 times in a row, like without. Say if you're having a session, you walk up, do a backflip, and then it doesn't count if you do one and then stack it. The ones after that don't count. You start back at one again. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question: front side or backside?
Backside.
Yeah, backside ones.
Yeah,
they're lovely.
It's a wicked trick, definitely. And then
they look good and they feel good. They look good if you're watching someone else do them, but they feel good when you do them as well.
Yeah. It just feels like stomped, doesn't it, when you land a good backside 180? Then last question, favorite rider. I think did you change this one to like who gets you stoked more? I don't know. Who's your favorite rider?
Who's going first?
Go on, Dan. You go first.
I put my hand over that part of the screen. Then I can do it. I can say it without looking in his eyes. Obviously, Slogget stokes me, but there has to be a few honourable mentions. Beck for one. Your good self, Amon. I enjoy very much riding with you. I hate to say this because going to think I like him, but I enjoy spending time with Matt. I really do. I have always hoped to ride with people better than myself, in the hope that it drags me on into and brings on my skills. And yeah, it's nice to be able to do that with you guys. Ant Wilson, as we said, is another honourable mention. Ant Wilson and Biren as free ride partners. Them two.
Yeah, I've not had the chance to ride with Ant Wilson much.
I tell you what, even today, if you could get him on that Eeb-it track, he'd be on that podium.
Do you reckon he'd be like at all interested in entering?
No. He's
Yeah,
not at
it's
all
fair
interested in entering. He's not He's one of my best mates. I can't even get him to come on the show.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough.
He's not interested. All he cares about is riding, and his mates. He's not in it to compete. He's not in it for glory of any description. But fuck me, he can really ride. And he's got endurance, hasn't he? I can keep up with him for a couple of minutes, but then my energy starts to sap, and he just keeps going and going, and then he just pull a meter until he's gone in
out of sight.
But yeah, next, if you get the opportunity, Amon, go ride with him.
Yeah, I was in Courchevel in the winter season when he was there. I can't really remember riding with him much then either. I don't know why.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've obviously been in the same field as Ant a lot, but never really ridden with him.
Yeah, I don't think he'd get too annoyed if I were to say that he's probably he's a really good snowboarder. Don't get me wrong, in the same way he'll get down anything. But I think he's a better mountain boarder than he is a snowboarder. He doesn't jib or jump or do anything like that.
Charges.
Yeah, you know how it's really hard. It's really hard to big him up because he's so unassuming. When it comes to his riding, but he's just incredible.
Yeah, nice. What about Sloggs? Who's your favourite rider?
Well, obviously, my main man over there, Dan, who I've rode with more than anyone ever. But Nathan Jenkins and Tom Rees. Whenever I watch those two riding, I don't know, man. They're just out there above the rest of them. I just think they're so stylish.
They bounce off each other, those two, as well, when they're riding together.
Yeah,
they push each other, and almost subconsciously as well. They don't really talk about it; they just start battling it out, which is good to see. I think were you both at Bestwood that time when they were trying? I think you were, Dan. I'm not sure you were there. So.
Was this when I came up the other last month?
Yeah.
It was unfortunately only me.
Yeah,
for that one.
But they were both trying to do I think it was a front 3 to front 5 on these back-to-back jumps, and one of them started doing it, and then the other one started doing it, and they were just fighting it out for ages, but really pushing each other.
It's good to see. Even just their riding style; they're just both really lovely blokes as well.
Yeah.
And I've got so much time for the pair of them, and it's a joy to watch them riding. An absolute joy just to sit back and just watch them.
Yeah,
it's always a joy to ride with all the tramper crew. To be fair,
yeah,
they're all good lads in work, good lads out of work. They have good fun. They're all stoked.
Definitely.
It's only that little fucking mouthy prick that no one likes.
Oh, the ratty one.
Yeah, Scruffy, whatever his name is.
Dunny something, I think he's called. Well, that's all 10 questions.
Awesome.
So there we go. I think we've got to the end of my list of things to talk about, really. I don't know whether there's anything else you guys want to mention while you're here.
I'll go first, Dan.
Go on.
I'll let you at the end. I just want to thank Dan for bringing me along on this ride with him, the Dirt, because like I said, it's his fucking vehicle, and it's been brilliant. I love it so much. I'll thank my wife for putting up with so much shit and just like she's good as gold. She comes everywhere with me. I'll drag her around hanging around fields, hanging around the bottom of mountains, and she's good as gold. And I want to thank everyone for watching. We really appreciate the viewing figures. Didn't think we'd get them, but thank you for watching us.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's it. And that is it. I couldn't do it without Sloggs. I could, like I say, we've been mates. There's natural, hopefully, what comes across, a bit of natural fun between us because of that friendship for so long. That I wouldn't have the confidence to do it without him. There is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Put yourself out on the web for people to like, criticize, masturbate over, whatever. It's a little bit. I know they do it as well. I know they all do it. Yeah, I couldn't do it without Sloggs, really, to be there to help and hold my hand.
Yeah, this has got really emotional towards the end here. That's good there.
I'm sexual at the same time.
But again, like I say, it ain't nothing without the community, and it has taken up quite a lot of my life doing it now. You know, all the editing and making sure that we're keeping guests coming, keeping new guests, and trying to vary it up. You know, it's the easiest guest for us to have on are the UK guests. They're in the same time zone, and I know most of them, but we really want to make it, or I want to make it, more international. The problem is just finding that moment where you can get the people at 8 o'clock in the morning, or I've got to record at 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure that, I just wish, that's my only thing, is that if I could make that side of things easier so we could incorporate more of the world community, I'd really like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you everybody for tuning in, and long may you continue. It's never been intended that everybody binge watch every episode every week. We'll keep making them. We'll keep putting on there. If you can keep up with us making them, then
that's the like we kind of mentioned it earlier at the start, but it's so cool about having a weekly thing that comes out at the same time. Like I know I personally, and I know a lot of other people do as well, it's almost become a habit now, and I do a lot of driving, and it's just like, I know if it's been Sunday, because I don't listen to it on a Sunday, but I know if it's the start of the week, I'm like, oh, I've got to drive, I know the Dirt podcast is going to be there to listen to, and it's like it's just the thing that happens now every week. And I hope a lot of other people are the same, and it's super cool.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll just keep pushing them out. There might be times when we might miss a week or two, or might, for whatever reasons, like we did the other week.
That's the thing.
We just can't do it all the time.
Yeah. But you got commitments. You got family.
Yeah.
Work.
We will still keep putting them out there, and then hopefully, like I say, we don't plan on ever taking them down. They'll just be there for you to dip in and out of as you see fit, whether that be as they're released or in 10 years' time. Whatever it is, it's our little contribution to the.
And all these little stories you've got out of people there now, like not written down, but the modern version of it, like they're just to people to dip back into.
Yeah.
Really good.
Amon, thank you for hosting today as well. We really appreciate
honestly,
you.
it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me. And sorry for like pressurizing you. I'll say it like, but to the listeners and viewers, I don't know whether Dan mentioned it to me, but we were talking about it and he said he's probably not going to do an episode this week. He's run out of people and stuff. And because I just personally love the podcast so much, I was like, no, you can't do that. You got to just make one anyway. And now it's ended up with me doing it and interviewing you guys. So thank you. And I'm just glad to help keep.
I'm glad that you suggested it, Amon, because to be fair, I thought at some point we would do it. And yeah. And to be honest, I'd reached a point where I needed to take a break from sitting there every night, trawling for photos or videos and trimming them down and, looking for this, that, and the other. And yeah, it's been reinvigorated a little bit through yourself and a couple of other people that have reached out and, said, again, every time someone says to me, or we hear that, like Dave said earlier, that it's invigorated them, it stokes us back up, or it certainly stokes me back up.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was the other reason I felt a bit crook, to be honest with you. A couple of weeks ago, I had a really bad back after Brindy's birthday, and I couldn't do a lot. I could barely move, to be honest with you. So I let the sort of the momentum slip a little bit, but we're back on board now. I had a good session of it the other day, didn't I? We've got about 3 or 4 guests lined up ahead for the next couple of weeks, so we're smashing them back out again.
Sweet.
Next episode will be, well, I suppose I could probably say it, couldn't I?
Yeah, let them know. Get them excited.
Next episode is a new one for me. Well, in fact, Sloggs, he secured this one. Sloggs secured this deal.
We got Mr. Beamish coming on. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Nice.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
I am as well. I don't know Aidan that well. I've seen him around. I've spoken to him a number of times, but
he can't talk about horseboarding though.
What's
not that? Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna get off to a bad footing already.
He can talk about. If we can talk about e-boarding on a Mountainboard fucking podcast, he can talk about horseboarding. I think he's fucking stupid doing it. The fucking horses, they got big teeth. You wouldn't get me fucking near one.
Have I told you about this is going on now, but have I told you about the story of my horseboarding experience?
No.
So there was one weekend at Harthill when there was just horseboarders there. I don't know why they were there, but it was like an event or something. Oh, no, they wanted to do the first horseboarding backflip. So you're pulled by a horse into a jump to do a backflip. And I think a few of us went down to do that. We did it, but then we were just kind of like riding about, being towed by these horses, and I was being pulled along, and the horse kind of stopped or like darted to the left slightly, and it was on the flat, and I had like the rope was maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 meters long, not that long. So the horse stopped, went left, and I power slided and just went straight underneath the horse's legs. And one of the hooves went so close to my bits in between my legs. And since then, I've just been I'm not into it at all. Like, I don't want to go anywhere near the back of a horse.
That's the problem.
Again. And they've just got the one thing that gets me
is that's bigger than your own.
Exactly. Yeah, they've got a mind of their own.
And like, fuck that.
Yeah. No, not into it.
I am looking forward to hearing about it, but it's not my cup of tea. I gotta but I've not tried it. So who's actually? I retract that statement. I've not tried it, so I can't pass judgment. Yeah. That's the bottom line. But I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
No, it'd be a good guess.
It's going to take some persuading to get me to try it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Should we leave it there then? I feel like I've got to be on host duties. I've got to wrap this up too.
Oh, I've got one more thing to say, actually. Just before everybody goes, there are two things that we're supposed to talk about here. One later on in the year, more news to follow, that the Dirt will hopefully be holding an event. News to follow. The other one is a video contest. Again, more news will to follow. But guys and girls, this is going to be a introductory sort of video making exploit for the community. We're not looking for big projects like our wonderful, or the IMA's wonderful 4 Down project. Long may that continue, because I fucking love that. But we're hoping to do a 1-minute video contest. 1 minute and under, and again,
short, sharp, shock.
All killer, no filler. Whereas the details do that, but be thinking about that, community, for summer. That will probably be.
Yeah, am I right in saying it is going to be? You have got the summer long to make a 1-minute video, which I think is one of the coolest parts about it, because a minute is so short, and everyone, well, I know me and a lot of people are so used to like going on a ride or a session or an evening and making a 1-minute long video. The prospect of like saving up footage the whole summer to make a minute, it's going to be the sickest minute ever.
It's going to be quite a task. It's going to be really hard. If you do that, you stack clips, fuck man, how are you?
Yeah,
you're going to be like that. Oh, I've got all this fucking footage and I've got to squeeze it down into one video. But where you could have alternatively, you could have somebody that will literally go out with their phone in one session and go, boom, that's my video.
Yeah, but that could still be amazing.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially.
No, exciting.
But yeah,
Definitely.
Other than that, no other news. Let's get the next episode done.
Cool. Right. Well, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you. This has been episode 25, and your host is out.
And if there are any other sponsors other than Fatster's Economy Lard that want to chat.
Oh yeah, by the way, sorry, I keep going on. I love that thing at the start. It's well funny.
Cool.
Nice.
Cheers, boys.
Bye. Laters.
Way aye, man. That was dead canny as out, that like. Cheers for tuning out to listen. Now, before you gan yem, don't forget, if you want to keep getting doing with the Dirty Dirt fun, like and subscribe. Get amongst it. Shy Ben's getting out.